Whew. The storms are upon us, yes. Yeah, here in the grand state of Tennessee, storms are upon us. It's good. The garden is hungry. So am I. That's why I've got a garden. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. CJTV, Saturday afternoon, the 13th. Yeah, the manufactured outrage. So if you kind of caught the on Rumble or YouTube, the short video, you know, they catch you, the hook. Or there's a reason for it. You're the hook. You're it. You're the partisan hive. You're the partisan brain. But for this episode, we're going to keep it fast, in your face, and hard. No dusty book, so to say. Just the point as a scholar. Yeah, for those of you that are scholars, you know what I'm saying here. Take the left side, the right side, the bipartisan, the partisan, the Republican Party, Democratic Party, liberal, conservative, whatever it is, throw that all in a garbage can. Period. At least for this show. All right, give me a break. Throw it in the garbage can. All right, it's manufactured outrage. Yes, the cultural divide, the cultural shift, the media control, the who's got the who's what of the protocol services for your ISP provider, your internet, your cell phone, who's shifting what through the airwaves that you like and you don't like. Yeah, I'll tell them about that. Yeah, apologize for last show. I forgot to hit the, what was it? OST button. Whatever the hell that is. You didn't tell me to hit it. Stop looking at me. Yeah, I've got a production aid here. It says OST button. Anyway, it's the emotional outburst. What is manufactured rage? It's when political leaders or government entities, agencies deliberately stroke anger over specific issues, not to solve them. Yes, stroke it, rub it. Yeah, it's kind of like Jasmine Crockett. Well, it was only one stab. One stab. Well, we talked about that, last episode. One rock to the head, maybe? One car hit? One projectile ballistic missile? A lot of people like to call it bullets. I hate that word. Yeah. Stroke the problem so that you lose it. You lose your mind. You lose your cognitive ability to understand what's going on in the world. Keeps the citizens emotionally activated. Keeps them emotionally charged into the moment. The catharsis, the one that's angry, the emotional, it's not the instrument, all right? Keeps citizens emotionally activated, and it's easy to control. Psychologically, it's easy to control. Manipulation, the words, the edict, the ideology, not the pretext of what's really going on because of a set precedent for a phenomenon in society or an incident that's happened. There's that lack of really emotional care. I give a crap about it. It's who's in charge and who wants to stay in charge, who wants to be the one that is the trigger puller on the emotion, the activation button. Now, research explains that once an issue becomes tied to our social identity, individual, group, culture, race, religion, subculture, whatever your identity is, okay? You could identify as a dolphin or a piece of lettuce. Your identity, when something is tied to you and your identity, it's kind of like the amputation we talked about 2 episodes ago. If you're a part of the identity, it's a part of you. It's an emotional trigger. So it's tied to our social identity. It's tied to our emotions that are tied to our social identity. It doesn't matter where you're at, what plateau or region of the world you're at, what country you're at. It works the same. Yeah, argue it all day long. Works the same. So we think we are, and we think we belong. We are the group. We belong to the group. Our brain stops processing it logically. What information we're getting. The dumpster fires start in your head. The garbage disposal button has been pushed psychologically through the media, through the airwaves, through conversation, through linguistic preview, kinesic preview, physical preview. Yeah, it's all shifting. It's all changing. Don't tell me you can't tell someone's emotions. Kinesically, physically, you can. Anger, sadness, you can tell. So it's the trigger. It's the defense of the controller, the person that's attacked. It's in your group. It's in your culture. It's in your subculture. It's in your belonging. It's deliberate against your specific issues. Your realm of control has now been taken away from you. It's pretty easy. It's done every day. Think about those people that insult you. You make a choice. Block them. Talk to them. Never associate or affiliate with them again. They're like, I don't like this person. They're insulting. I don't want to be with them anymore. I don't want to talk to them. Why should I talk to somebody that, emotion. Or you get angry. The partisan motivated reasoning, okay? Now, like I said, take all of that partisan, that lefty, righty, demo, Repub, just put it in the garbage can, put it on the desk, put it in the dumpster fire for right now through this. But you've got to understand that regardless of whatever cultural division you're at, wherever group you stand in, whatever your belonging or identity is, the motivated reasoning, it decides, it defines the brain's automatic tendency to accept information that supports your political team or your political side of the fence, or your rejection. The information that threatens your side of the fence, your belonging, your identity. Where's the information coming from? It's a trigger pull. It's an emotional snap. All I have to do is interject a few words linguistically to get that kinesic or that emotional response. When you do not pay attention to the psychological push, when you do not pay attention to the ammunition that is being used against you to build a political team, to build a movement, to build a front, and then you're just getting tore up and riddled by the ammunition. And it can be your own identity group, your own culture, your own race, your own religion, your own whatever the heck you want to ID as. It can be that too, because not everyone is truly on your side. They're not. They can claim it all day long. They're not going to be on your side. Look at the UK right now. It's up in turmoil. Look at Belfast. Look at Ireland. It's all up in turmoil. Look at the United States. Look at Australia with the decision that came out a few days ago. The argument of the political side and the identity, even against the ones that were, yes, let's have multiple race inclusion in the country. Now it's flip-flopping. It's knives out, daggers out, swords out, ammunition against each other politically. Then it turns into ammunition against society. Race, creed, culture, religion, subculture. It really doesn't matter what you are. It really doesn't matter where you come from or how you argue it. Why the state loves it. Why the partisans love it. Why the government loves it. When citizens are locked in, us versus them. All right, locked in, bullhorns, knives out, fangs out, staples in, the ideology, the edict, the rhetoric, whatever the information is, whatever the mass media is cramming down your throat, because you're letting it happen. When the partisan sees you're locked in, they stop asking hard questions amongst themselves. Now the hard questions are being asked by you. All they have to do is sit back and deflect it like Wonder Woman and magic, projectile-resistant bracelets. Get rid of it. Knock it out of the ballpark, away from them. Now the attention's on you. They're using all the ammunition to make you the problem in society. It's baiting. It's a narcissistic tool. It's a diversion. Anybody ever watch that show? What's the girl that's supposed to be divergent, whatever that is, the futuristic escape from the city stuff? Yeah. You're not divergent now. You're obedient. You're submissive. Now you're stopping the question. The question is you. The budget failures, the civil liberties, everything. It demonstrates that the partisan identity itself can override a basic risk assessment, making people support policies that actually cause society harm. It's those policies that are framed as a win against the other side. You're the other freaking side. You are. Whether you like to identify that as a reality or not, it is. You've heard both sides of the fence in the past few months. Lefties, righties, Republican, Democrat, whatever it may be, okay? Our own party is failing us. Well, since your own party's failing you, why don't you flip over to the other party? But no, I can't flip over to the other party. My party's the better party. But your party's failing you. It's ammunition against you. Now, suddenly, you're going to stop asking the questions about bad within your partisan, within your race, within your creed, religion, culture, subculture, age group, identity, whatever it is that you're identifying as. Now, the deflection of psychological warfare has happened. You've lost. Yep, you got hit by all of that psychological ammunition. And it's not just in the United States, it's worldwide. Every country you go to, and trust me guys, I've been to some countries, okay? It doesn't change. Historical, even when I was young, didn't change. Memory, episodic memory recall, well, it was the same then as it is now. My first episode with the political venue, violence, war, emotional, psychological, instrumental. Yeah. Slavic theater, Bosnia, Kosovo. Anybody remember those days? The forgotten incident? Yeah, the Slavic EU era. Current examples in 2000, I would go back to, let's just stay current, 2024, 2025. Let's not use 2026. It's not over yet, so let's not be stupid research-wise. Multiple state legislative bodies introduced opposing bills toward each other on transgender youth sports and bathroom access. This is just an example. It's not an insult. It's an example. You guys know it's real. All right. Often using nearly identical language as the other side. Arguing words, single words, definitions of a single word. Using the same language, but getting the same argument back from society. Differing opinions in society, but it's the same question, it's the same word, it's ammo. Now, you're the problem. It's not your partisan side, you're a part of the problem. So access within weeks of each other these questions, days sometimes. You would see one on one news media group and another one on another news media group of same types of questions, same types of rhetorical crappy answers over and over again, and now suddenly society is the enemy of the partisan because you're not answering it the way the partisan wants. So now partisan level is failing you. So now we're going to catharsis emotion, and we're going to look for our instruments, and the instruments are typically the instrumentally, emotionally broken and unsound that society picks. It's a language. It's a national advocated language amongst the political side too. For advocacy for phenomenons or specific organizations that are at each other's throat. You're the organization. You're the phenomenon. The timing is perfect. It's a mirroring episode of each other. You've heard of two wings, right? Two wings on a dirty bird. Consider, the libertarian and the conservative and everything else, the legs. It's a dirty bird. It's coordination designed to trigger, all right? Reciprocal outrage rather than solving the problem. It's kind of like big pharma. It's kind of like medical doctors. Now, I know somebody like, oh, don't you have a forensic metallurgical death and psychology with trauma? Yeah, okay, great, fantastic. Yeah, but I'm not big pharma. So there you go. Big pharma. Let's not identify the true physical nature of the problem. Let's identify symptoms and treat the symptoms, hoping that that'll enable us to identify the problem and treat the problem, or just not treat the problem because we want to identify more symptoms to make sure we're correct about the problem. What the flying Kentucky crack pipe? What? Yeah. For those of you that are extensively in the clinical medical field, and for those of you that have that physical dilapidation or physical ailment, whatever it may be, that are on medication, how many times have you heard that doctor say, well, we're going to transfer you this, you need to try this so that we can identify more symptoms, to attempt to identify a problem and then correct or identify or attack and treat the problem to make you as you should be. I didn't want to say well or better because you don't know what's going to happen because, you ingested something 6 months ago or took a shot that had an adverse reaction. Who knows, man? But it all works the same way. Now, put your emotions in a box and shift it over to the side, just like all your partisan stuff. And let's go on a little bit deeper with this within the entrepreneurism of the government and psychological warfare against you, using your emotion, your race, your creed, your subculture, and identifying you as now the problem. You're it, man. You're the one that's the cause of all of this. And it's kind of, I spent last night in the shop, I was hanging up lights, I've got a, big shop, workshop, motorcycles, SUVs, blah, blah, blah. For those of you that know me, it's like a little tanker warehouse. So I was with my dogs hanging up some lights, watching some stuff and watching protesters injure themselves. Dum-dum, you're that we've triggered you with our ammunition. Then I'm watching, anti-protesters get themselves injured and emotions and catharsis, and nobody's an incisive tool for critical words, critical thinking. So let's go with the conflict entrepreneurs. How do we get to this point? Who profits from your fury, your anger, your emotion? Man, if you hear any loud bangs or booms, it's because it's raining. Gonna have zucchini, huge. Now, conflict entrepreneurs. What's the definition here? A conflict entrepreneur or political operatives, media personalities, even elected officials who build personal brands. Yes, personal brands, their own image, their own me. When you hear it, you identify it. You know it's that person. You know who it is. It's like AOC. You don't need to hear the full name. You just hear it. It's like Jesse. You know who Jesse is. It's just names, man. Historical venue, present day. JF, what? You know. Orange Angry Man. Grandpa touches me bad. Personal brands, even though society gives a personal brand too, right? I've just used those. Orange Angry Man and Granddad touches me bad. We know who I'm talking about. Trump and Biden, okay? It's just sociological brands that are built. Fundraising bases. Power struggles for identity. We've all seen that, right? Who's the best? Amplifying and sustaining the social conflict more than the resolve of the conflict, like a medical doctor, like Big Pharma. Let's identify a phenomenon that's something that we could throw some medication at, or throw some principles at, or throw some practices at, or throw some methodology, practitioner skill sets at, to identify a symptom, to hopefully identify the true causation and the real nature of the problem, to treat the problem. But no, the brand is out there. You're hooked to the brand. You're hooked to the, my brother has a better first name to me as I play. What's the guy that plays in the back behind it with the pad, the catcher, whatever the hell, man. I don't watch baseball. It's real man's football, commonly known as soccer, or real man sport, rugby. Okay, that's my gag. It's my gimmick. It's my game. That's my brand. So, Arsenal, then Manchester. So, yeah, the brands, the people that are out there, even running around being super point at you with the USA uniform on in the congressional baseball game. Who funded that crap while you were out there protesting? While you were out there conforming to that brand, while they were all together having fun. It's like judges, lawyers, and cops. Oh, they hate each other. No, they don't. It's a brand, like a badge. Yes, it's a brand. And trust me, I'm pro-cop, pro-law enforcement, pro-constitution, pro-individuality. It's a brand. It is a brand. State, cities, it's a brand. Different mayors of a city, it's a brand. Identities, policies, it's a brand. These actors do not believe in your cause. They do not believe in any cause other than their own cause. They need a cause to keep generating donations. The war chest. What happens to the war chest when someone succeeds? Oh, I'm not going to win. I'm going to get beaten down. I'm going to go buy a new car with all that money that I've still got left over from the war chest of donations, the clicks, the votes. It's kind of like this stuff, social media stuff. You want to watch the exciting stuff that ventilates you, feeds your anger, your emotion. CJTV is an educational experience with research that we can back up, that we can publish at any point in time, with a lot of stuff that's, actually been published and circulated, literally worldwide. We use MediaFire for free. Facebook, go there, Dr. Mike Gurley, CJTV. Friend it, download some stuff. We put it out. I put it out on LinkedIn a lot. Put some out today. Put a new one out today about serial killers. Anyway, back to the topic. Enough about scholarly education and being hooked in by the click and by the bait, the votes. Think of them as arsonists who sell fire. The politicians. They're selling you snake venom, fire water, juice, poison, something to corrupt you and trigger that emotion so that they can profit and stay in that position of donate to me. I need a war chest. Current examples. All right. We're going to use 2000. Yeah, let's stay 2024, 25. We don't want to do 2026. I don't want too many real scholars out there, sending me emails saying, hey, Doctor, why are you using 2026? 2025 has barely been peer reviewed. So that's why we're going to stay 2004 to 2025. All right. The enemy, the immigration debates. Your enemy, the war. Several members of Congress raised record-breaking campaigns based on this. All right. Funds, viral confrontations, media clickbait, the southern border, staffers later admitting, yada, 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 government officials blaming, admitting, pointing fingers, senators, is a big war. Anybody remember Obama when he was in office said the same thing that Trump said? 2011, 2013. Do your own research. You can even go on this fantastic YouTube thing and go back to where Obama was just as harsh and deported just as many within the first year that he was in office. What happened now? Political partisanism. Now you've fallen sucker to the debate. You've fallen sucker to the woe is me. You've fallen sucker to the political side that's building ammunition. You are the ammunition to use to keep them effectively in a position that they want. It's the psychology. When you donate fight to the enemy money, your brain releases dopamine. It's a reward chemical. It's kind of like when you donate to your favorite YouTube show, when you donate to your favorite Rumble show at Mike, CJTV, right? Cash App. When you donate, you feel good. You feel like you've done something good. Yeah, all of our money goes in stockpiles, trying to get as much money as we can for equipment, documentation. We actually need a new printer for some researchers. I want to get a good laser printer. Good laser printer. I want to drop it off at a main center just for CJ. That would be Parsons. I want to drop it off there. So if you want to help us out, I'm trying to get a new laser printer for the researchers. All right. The chemical reward, creating the addiction, what you need, the conflict cycle. Now you've got it. You've donated. Ugh. The adrenaline, the dopamine, you're part of the group. You're part of the identity until the group or the identity severs the limb. Now the emotion. Remember we talked about that 2 episodes ago. The sever. It's catastrophic. The emotions trigger. Now the chemical reward is going to turn to something else. Anger, hate, frustration. Now you're mad. You're angry. The debates are worthless. Now your partisan has failed you. It's an affective polarization. When hating becomes the whole cycle of the personality of who you are. Yes. You're going to follow it. The Democrats hate the Republicans. The Republicans hate the Democrats. Why the heck are they out there in a congressional baseball game together? Why are the prosecuting attorneys having dinner with the public defenders and the defense counsel that's private hire that costs astronomically insane amounts of money? And it's the polarization effect. They want you there. They want to trigger you and suck you in that basket of separation. That's what's going on. That's what's happening. You're falling prey to it. The definition of polarization, all right? I know. Affective polarization. Affective polarization is a phenomenon, and a phenomenon is a problem area, all right? Something that's a concern. When members of opposing groups distrust each other more than they like each other, sometimes more than they trust or like people in their own groups. It's a phenomenon. It's imposed. It's triggered. It's psychologically and emotionally triggered. It's not about policy agreement or disagreement. It's about a social concept. Society puts these people in a position through voting, the legislative spot. That's why they have that war chest, those vote for me signs. So you're being sucked in as someone in society, that sociological concept of polarization, but it's affective polarization. Distrust this side, distrust this argument. While you're coached by that one that you voted for and got that dopamine of the reward chemical because you feel the same way, but you struggle every day while that I make $172,000 and I'm going to sit in a room and argue and make a jackass out of myself and cry, rant, rave, scream. I'm still going to go home to my big lush house in the sky or in the burbs while you're struggling. Where's the chemical reward there? You're the ammunition. The partisans are using you as an ammunition for their argument to keep them in the position. As long as they triggered you and sucked you into that envelope of our side's right, our ideology, our identity, you're going to stay there because there's a chemical reward of, they said something today that supports me or what I think based on what I was coached to think within the construct of the sociological contempt of solving the phenomenon, solving the problem. It's like big pharma, medication. Treat a symptom. Identify a symptom. Excuse me, guys. I'm 2.5 miles on a treadmill in a crappy room. And then the rain. So it's like big pharma. Find a symptom. Identify a symptom. Treat a symptom. Let's not identify the true problem, the nature of the problem, find the construct of the problem, and eliminate it. Now, they're keeping you there. The disagreement, affective polarization, using you as ammunition. It's just the way it is. It's the way it works. Look at protests about immigration. The majority of people protesting at a site are not going to take a family of immigrants into their home. Why? The majority of them can't afford it. It's not because their hearts aren't huge or emotions or love or just man's common love for society. Can't afford it, can't do it. But $172,000, you voted them into the house, they can. They're not doing it. But you're expected to fight for the cause, use the anger, fight the enemy. Affective polarization, keep you there, keep me in office. Yeah, they're not going to agree or disagree with you. They're going to let you become the problem. Never are. Research shows in the past, all right, if you want a copy of information research, as I always say, shoot me an email. It's right there where this is, right here. I'll send it to you. Research shows affective polarization has risen faster within ideological polarization. Now, you got to understand what ideological is. Identity. Ideo. You. Idol. Ideological. The idol. You. What you identify as. What you identify emotionally. Spectrum. Belief. Cultural. Trend. Trait. Developmental trait. Wolves. Tigers. Cats. Dolphin-safe tuna. Whatever it is. Ideological polarization. It's actually more effective in policy at a political level than it is to have an open argument or disagreement with you. Well, I'm Democrat. I'm extreme left. Well, nobody on that side is going to have an argument with you if they're in a position that they were seated or voted. Of course they're not. Makes them look bad. They're not going to identify that problem. They're just going to keep talking. Why do you think when you see the people that are brand made, left side and right, doesn't matter, Democrat, Republican, they choose specific venues of media for people that will listen, ask questions, but they're not the questions that are being asked by the active polarization side. It's not happening. It's more easier questions, more questions that one can deflect emotionally and or ideologically, shift ideological polarization. I know. Education side, this is not a replacement for a classroom, but hopefully you're learning something. In other words, simplistic, smaller, simpler words, okay? Outside of the dusty textbook, the normal person words. We don't disagree on more things. We just hate each other for disagreeing on the same things. That's what we do in society. Fire's bad. Is fire bad? Fire's not bad. We use fire. Fire's great. Fire's great for farm. Fire's great to cook your deer meat. Fire's great to have at a clanky kumbaya guitar ceremony in the woods, camping, whatever. But fire's bad when the political polarization arsonists in society, the criminals, set fire to something and burn it down. It's just a garbage can. Well, it's arson. Well, we don't need to, but let's not burn a house down with kids in it. Still a crime. It's a polarization of the level of the crime. Why do you think state legislative venue has arson? Different venues. Woodlands, dwelling. Why do you think ABC, alcohol, tobacco, you know what I'm talking about? The alphabetic company? Yeah, Why do you think they have their own select specific group or task or job definition for commercial arson? It's polarized. The money. Where's the money coming from? Who owns the business? Imagine if someone that made that $170,000 plus bucks a year, senator, someone in the House, had their business burnt down during a riot or a protest. The ATF would be all over that shit so fast it's not funny. Even if it was at a left-wing protest or a right-wing protest, it doesn't matter, people. You're the ammunition. You're missing the whole skew. The state weaponizes you. The state weaponizes this by framing every policy debate as a moral freaking crusade. It's not a moral crusade. It isn't. If you want cereal, forensically, how to make cereal, I always get this answer. Well, get the cereal out, get a bowl, get some milk, get a spoon, mix it, so-and-so level of milk, ounces of milk, a specific amount of... No, you're dumb, you're over wrong. Number one, starts with a grain, a seed. Forensically, preparation for presentation. How are you going to go to the living room or the kitchen or wherever the hell you store your cereal and get that bowl, that spoon? How'd you get it? Was it a moral debate? Or was it you had to have a moral crusade attitude to get a job, get a money, get a house, rent a house, buy a house, set up a family, set up to where you have a kitchen, then go by yourself or with the family and the kiddos and do some cereal? Yeah. You're missing the point. The debate is turned into a moral crusade. The fundamental answer is equal to Big Pharma. Throw a pill at it. Treat the symptom. Do not identify the true phenomenon, the true issue, the true problem, and fix it. Go back. Obama, 2011, 2013, the same things. Deported. Who performed more drone strikes? Trump now or Obama? Obama. You're being used as a pinhead piece of ammunition on a moral crusade because you cannot scholarly do your own research. Emotional tie, right? Catharsis. You're choosing the wrong instrumentalists. Tax reform. Is it real tax reform, or do you support working families and billionaire pastries? Ooh, working families that make money for tax reform, billionaire pastries that, they work too, man. Had to earn that money to buy that pastry, get all that equipment. So where's your tax reform? You're being suckered in. You're being used as a cheap piece of ballistic profile at a political venue. It's not your battlefield, but they're going to suck you in emotionally and turn it into your battlefield. Why? Because you identify some level within that partisan. Period. It's the firehouse falsehood, drowning the truth. All of it. Whatever it is, whatever the argument is, whatever the protest is, whatever the riot's about, there's always a truth. Everybody's heard A, B, C. Somewhere within between A and B, there's the truth, and C is going to find it. Well, the firehood falsehood, drowning the truth down, drowning it down in the noise of the protest, the moral all-too, the moral crusade, the fundamental crusade of our identity, our policy. You're getting sucked into it. Stop watching stupid YouTube restreams and broadcasts about so-and-so's the collective measure of resolve. No one is. No one. Because everybody's a part of society, morally, aptitudely. Overseas. Yeah, and I say that too. I've been overseas. Been there. It's not different. The United States is the big corp leader for the influence of the media overseas. It's just the way it is. One can't say, well, it's the EU, or it's just, no, it's not. It's the United States. The firehouse falsehood that I mentioned, it's a propaganda technique where adversaries, including domestic political actors, the politicians you put into place, they're political actors now. They want to maintain that position. They want to maintain that 170,000 plus K when you vote them in and seat them so that they can stay there. Look at politicians that got seated. Now some are millionaires. How the hell did they become millionaires when they barely had enough money to feed themselves or rent a house? Come on. Think about this. The domestic politician actors, all right, they release a rapid, high volume, just extremely high volume of steady streaming contradictory information, all right? Partially true on purpose, and outright, flat out give false information to overwhelm critical thinking and create confusion in society. Yeah. It aids in the critical polarization skill that they need. They develop it, they grow it. So now it's a firehouse falsehood. Now they're setting the fire within society. It's not the argument of illegal immigration. People that are living right now are arguing, oh, they're taking families away. They're the minority. Of course they're a minority. They're in a country that is not of their culture rate. They're not. They're supposed to be the minority. They migrated to a country that is not of their own origin. Now they're going to be the minority. So you can't use that as a crybaby cultural, charismatic, moral alt anymore. Reasons that you're being triggered on propaganda techniques. If you're a white colonial in America and you go to Zimbabwe or you go to Nigeria, yeah, you're going to be the minority there. I hate to break the news to you. It's not your country. Good grief, if you're American and you go to Ireland, you're the minority. You're not Irish. You're not purebred, born blood Irish. You're the minority. You're American citizenship. You may look the same, but you're not. The moral argument. The firehouse falsehood. Yeah. Does a school burn faster or does a bank burn faster? A firehouse falsehood. They both burn. Just one takes a little longer or one goes up in flames longer. They both, construction. Who knows? It depends on the incendiary setup, the incendiary tool, the incendiary device. With intent, without intent, victimization, arcing a victimized electrical fire, not an act of what would be God, thunder, lightning, boom. You're falling prey to it. You're falling sucker to it. The technique, it's old as time. It's old as any manipulative skill. Yeah, it's kind of like the Adam and Eve principle. Eat from the fruit of the poisonous tree. That's a law enforcement terminology, fruit from the poisonous tree. The tree of knowledge. Suddenly, knowledge has to be retained and legally formatted and restricted before someone can act, or it's fruit from the poisonous tree, because we must abide by law in order to circumvent being called out from taking from the tree. Holy crap, look at that. Moral contingency and the use of a little bit of religion aspect and constitutional set precedent and pretext. Ooh. All applies together. When citizens can't tell what's true, they retreat to their crybaby partisan home. Yeah, whatever your partisan crybaby home is, that's where you retreat to for guidance, influence, more incendiary tactic, more verbiage, more ideology, more rhetoric, more edict. Listen to me. I'm the one that's voted into the position. I know what's best for this, the moral ought to, ought not of society. I know how you should act. I know how it should be supported, but you sucker in and you fall for the guidance because you're not critically thinking about the true nature of the problem. You're the paradox of the paradigm of the phenomenon. That's what you are. You're the polarization target. All we need to do is piss off a few people and make them emotionally unstable enough to go put on some jumping baby dinosaur green inflaties, and now it's a protest. And now your partisan looks like it's doing something. Get a few angry jackasses on top of U-Haul vans with airsoft empty plate carriers and sippy carriers waving some flags and screaming, chanting things that they honestly do not comprehend or understand. Oh, y'all know who I'm talking about. Jake Lang, that jackass. Yeah, and I'm pro-Constitution and law enforcement. That guy's a shit show. Shit show. Kind of glad he's locked up. That's just my opinion. Send the hate mail. Lefties and righties. Go ahead. Is what it is. If you're going to get out there and be an instrument, you have to know what you're arguing. You have to be able to prove you have the fundamental knowledge, the fundamental experience. It's kind of like hiring police chiefs that have this much experience, voting for sheriffs that have that much or no experience. Yeah, some people get voted into these positions that have zero experience. We got to show CJTV. Some areas of the United States, you do not have to have any law degree. You just have to be learned a word in the law, and that can be done after you're voted in to be a judge. Yes, do your own research. Watch the show. It's a past CJTV episode. Watch it. It's pretty informative. So let's do this. I know it's Saturday afternoon, 2:44. Let's close it out with one or two more things. Well, let's just close it out, period, with the result of all the emotion, all the propaganda, all the you being used as ammunition against yourselves, against society, against your own partisan body. You're being used. Your elected representatives, all right, the officials, the ones that are supposed to be accountable, account becomes indistinguishable, just simply indistinguishable from a built, baited influencer. Accountability, or are they deflecting linguistically, manipulating what's happening to get you to respond, to get you to aid in that firestorm of revolt? And the engagement metrics are, for those that understand the engagement metrics, they're easy to identify. It's deflecting. One would say you're not answering the question. And what do you think congressional hearings, that simple yes or no questions, are deflected off of? The baiting, the representative account, the indistinguishable built-in baiting of verbiage to send you somewhere else versus a simple yes or no question and an answer. It's not open-ended. It's a yes or no answer. It's not an open question. Yes or no. Did you urinate this morning? Yes or no, man. I didn't need a whole story. Yes or no? Yeah, the engagement metric. You've got to pay attention to this and understand this before you become that partisan piece of ammunition, because a lot of people become that partisan piece of ammunition. Like I said, leave your left-wing, right-wing, Republican, Democrat, whatever the crap it is, in a garbage can for this episode. You've got to understand what you're viewing and what you're hearing. And I've given just a few examples, okay? Just a few from both sides. Use your own engagement metric. Read a book. Get in a classroom. This is no substitute for class, okay? I know it's CJTV, academic, all that good stuff. Get into a classroom, learn something before you become sucked in like the paradigm of Big Pharma. We're going to throw a pill at it to identify a symptom and then treat a symptom and then treat a symptom versus the root problem, because it turns into built-in rage because the problem, the phenomenon, is not being solved by that war chest owner that you seated and you put in the office. And they know now through experience, and left-wingers, right-wingers, Democrats, Republicans, people in the House, people in the Senate, Congress, they talk to each other. They teach, they train. Congressional baseball. They work with each other. They learn from each other. They know how to engage in metrics with each other. They report. Yes. They report to each other, and they report to internal leadership that guides the metric of the phenomenon advancement to use you as ammunition. Successfully, they make you angry. They make you a catharsis. They make you flip your emotional switch. So when you're watching your favorite streams, when you're watching your favorite newscasts, when you're watching your favorite influencers and your trademarks and your brands, how did they get the trademark and the brand? What were they before they became a trademark and a brand? Who influenced them? Who helped them? Who was the representative? Who was the guiding measure of their own matrix to become a brand to influence you? Things you have to understand. It's called education. Get in a classroom. Fall's coming. Semester's underway. For those that are going to see me in the fall, looking forward to it. It's going to be a great semester. For those that aren't, you're missing out. Dr. Mike Gurley. Look me up. Come to a classroom. Also, in the future, we got some more shows coming on with some guest co-hosts. So if you think you're savvy enough and scholarly enough, look into it. We'll be more than happy to do that engagement metric with you about your research and presenting it and getting you published as a developing scholar. Have a great weekend, everybody. And if you're near me, Durain's here. Yay.